Hi, we're group 6. We're going to be talking about sources of work stress, particularly work demands. This is our team. Okay. Stress is a physiological reaction caused by emotional, physical, or psychological strain. This results in a change in our physical and psychological equilibrium that disrupts our ability to cope with our personal life and our work life. Stress at work is caused by both work-based factors and external factors such as home demands and personal demands. It's a growing problem around the world affecting the health and well-being of employees. We're going to focus on the factors directly related to work, namely physical demands, task demands, interpersonal demands, and role demands. So when I first started thinking about physical demands, I thought it only related to people working in construction or in manual labor. But of course, those are part of it. But there are other aspects of physical demands that we need to consider, such as working in extreme environments, like really, really cold places or really hot places, working with hazardous substances, such as people working in labs, in the medical field, or with chemical products for cleaning. Also, having to go on lots of long plane rides and lots of travel. When I thought about my job as a pharmacist in the past, I didn't think it had many physical demands. However, going through this lesson, I think there's a lot of physical demands that we did have to deal with, such as working with hazardous materials on a regular basis, standing the entire shift, which especially when pregnant was very difficult towards the end. There's also a high incidence of carpal tunnel syndrome, so always got to pay attention to how you're feeling. And then patients will stare at you while you're working, and you feel like you're in a fishbowl, which can be very stressful. Also, patients can get verbally abusive and threatening. So to deal with some of these things like the hazardous materials, we would make sure we're wearing protective equipment, follow all of best practices. Anytime things got stressful with patients, wanted to remain very professional, rely on your coworkers, have a good sense of humor. And we always had an emergency button to push if things got really out of control. I'm going to pass it over to Samjhauta.
Okay, so task demands. Demands which are required to perform a particular task are known as task demands. Task demands are the type of stressors that deals with the uncertainty of people's job. Task demands basically means how hard or how long people will need to work to complete their job. Job characteristics such as the difficulty level, working conditions, physical work layout, and insufficient information about one's job are some of the factors that leads to have higher level of stress in an organizations. So we can say that increase in task demands increases the level of stress in an employees. So moving on to the causes of task demands in an organizations. There are various causes of task demands in an organization. Some of them are time pressures, workload, technological advancement, and poor management skills. Workload. An employee tends to have a higher level of stress when he or she has to perform multiple tasks at a time. So in order to avoid it, an employee must be assigned one task at a time with flexible deadlines. Time pressure. When sometimes an organization pressurizes their employees to perform all the tasks within a short period of time, which automatically increases the level of stress on them. So to control it, an organization should give their employees sufficient time and flexible working hours to complete their tasks without having to worry about the time limit. Technological advancement. Many companies have now adopted the technologically advanced equipments which have helped their employees to perform their tasks smoothly and has also helped to reduce the level of stress on them. While on the other hand, it has also been a burden to those employees who lacks capability and understanding of those technologically advanced equipments. Hence, it has created a stressful environment for them in an organization. Similarly, poor management skills. The stress created by the poor management skills can be reduced if an employees have an uh, idea to prioritize their work and manage their time to complete it. So the rest of the presentation is carried on by Amrita.
Organization stressors also consist of three interpersonal demands. Group pressures may include pressure to restrict output. For instance, it's quite common for a group to arrive at an informal agreement about how each member will produce. Individuals who produce much more or much less tend to have a lot of pressure. And also individuals who feel that there is a strong need to vary in a group's exceptions for, maybe to get promotions, but they have to equally be accepted by the group to create a healthy environment. So that again leads to stress. Next, talking about leadership style also causes stress. Suppose in leadership, suppose an employee needs a great deal of social support for his leader, from his leader. However, the leader shows no concern or compassion for him and is very selfish. So this also leads to stress. Similarly, if an employee is looking for a strong need to participate in the decision making of the management, but the leader is very autocratic in nature and refuses to consult the subordinates, this also lead to stress. These can be mitigated by an autonomy system of work environment, strong ethics and compliance team, and also a good leadership team. I would like to draw your attention towards two examples of how two big company CEOs have been like a killer to their entities due to the toxic cultures. CEO of Uber, Tarvis Kalanick. Mr. Kalanick founded Uber in 2009. The company shook up the taxi industry. However, due to big mistakes, the company had to he had to resign. So the worst black mark against Mr. Kalanick was the systematic culture of sexual harassment at Uber. The culture was exposed and that kicked off the Me Too movement. The mistake led to his resignation. Next, we have Wells Fargo, the CEO, John Stump. John had a 34-year-old career at Wells Fargo. However, his employees began opening credit card accounts for unknown customers. And later, Mr. John resigned after trying to shift the blame on his employees. The culture that he created led to bad leadership and toxic demands. Next, we have Kate.
When adjusting the stress from role demands according to a task force, there are four types totally. Firstly is the inter-role demands, which means that a person carries another role other than the role of employee, like parents or part-time students. And secondly is the intra-role, that is the conflicting expectation from work, being required to do fast at the same time with high quality. It would just make an employee extremely stressed out. And then the personal role, some tasks or requests may be incompatible to personal value or belief or principle, such as an honest person, and he may feel uncomfortable towards flattery to utter out some honey words. And lastly is the role ambiguity, that is the absence of clear work instruction. No idea what to do, how to do. And Chira once pointed out that role ambiguity is the direct link to emotional exhaustion. That is a state of burnout because employees need to keep thinking and figure out the ways to get the work done on their own. And it just leads to their brain get stuck and get tired. And in my own working experience, I also come across the personal role stress. So it is common to have a birthday picketing ceremony in our tradition that is to ask for good luck, prosperity, and the smooth business on the first working day of the new year. So after the ceremony, each staff will receive a portion of the pork, but I will just be jaded and embarrassed with a mixed feeling that because I'm a Christian, I cannot take any food using to worship another god, while all my other colleagues were just out there eating. So it just left me and left any Catholic employee a bit weird. So that's all the sharing of our group about the stress come from different kinds of work demand. And we also prepare 3 questions for you all. So please kindly check them out on Nexus, and we just can't wait to see your comments. Thank you.